the same, but they're not. The definition of Europe is generally equates to the Part 2 qualification, and the qualification for becoming an architect over here is generally the Part 3 qualification. Now, what I want to try and explain is why there's an anomaly between the two. Why is there an anomaly? And it's only because of the historic received wisdom that Part 3 becomes the definition for becoming an architect. Now, I would challenge that. I challenge that because it's what's called in the education system as gold plating the definition of an architect that you find in the directive. This process of gold plating... I'm going to have to accelerate now, I'm sorry.
Perhaps 10 seconds.
Okay. It creates an anomaly between the definition of Part 2 and Part 3. What needs to change is that the definition of architect should become what's listed in the directive. That's okay. the best thing I can suggest to change the nature of architectural education in the UK.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the third of our suggestors is a Part 2 graduate and is the founder and editor of Boidus, which is an architecture design blog, which really is a platform to showcase young talent, fresh new talent, and the latest news across the design industry. He is also the features editor of Design Exchange magazine and has very recently written for the RIBA journal. Please welcome to the box, Robert Pike.
Learning through doing is one way for educational redress to occur in architecture, and working towards a degree or diploma part-time allows potential architects to enter the practice at the earliest possible opportunity. I was fortunate to receive sponsorship from practice to study part-time, as have several of my colleagues, some of whom joined the practice from school, and in my experience it removed the financial burden and stress of having to pay extra increasing tuition fees while still receiving a good salary, good experience and benefit of self-directed university study. I developed discipline with design and a pragmatic approach, without losing the vision and ideas that the academic design studio promotes. The practice benefits from having a secure workforce contracted for a long period, committed to 3 to 5 years of study. Alternatively, university-based live projects and consultancies have proven successful in replicating the practice environment. For example, the University of Sheffield Live Projects Initiative helped deliver the Pavilion of Protest, which is in the room across the hall. Elsewhere, the University of Nottingham collaborated with NGO Education Africa to deliver projects challenging undergraduates to design, manage and build and complete projects in the townships of South Africa. ASD Projects is an extension of the design studios of London Met, allowing studio-based work to develop in the public realm and offering commercial solutions for it. Often, this is an incubator from which practices like Studio Weave were assembled with a desire for self-initiated projects can emerge. I would suggest that practitioners, academia and the RIBA focus on providing diverse modes of study that is capable of producing a new generation of highly experienced, competent graduates and practices. This should come in the form of integrated paid internship programs or apprenticeships schemes with employers and universities working in tandem for the benefit of the students. Help students in these difficult economic times when work placements are in short supply by giving them the greatest opportunities in education and employment. Thank you.
The last of our suggestors has run her own architectural business, Resolution Architecture, since 2009, and is currently developing a resourcing website for launch in 2012, which will put architecture students and graduates in direct touch with employers via the internet without having to pay. Please welcome to the box, Helen Misselbrook.
So I was talk of case studies. I'm doing my part here at the moment, so that just made my heart go as well. Yes, I'm here to introduce a new venture that I'm working on, which is going to be an online grad pool, and employers will be able to search that completely for free. So hopefully there's no one from the agencies in here, because the 20% fees that they're charging on top of annual salaries, I think, is an issue at the moment. The one thing that I would like to say is there is work out there for graduates. I think at the moment, with all of the redundancies that have been made, there is work in small to medium firms and the larger firms as well. The issue for me and for those firms is that the agency fees, advertising fees, the time it takes to find someone, and you might want someone for maybe 1 month on a very highly flexible basis, just for one month to help out. And I think at the moment it's incredibly difficult to find those people. So the new venture that I'm going to be launching in 2012 is a resourcing website. So that puts the graduates and the employers directly in touch via one website, and it's going to be completely for free. We've already run a trial of this, and Rogers have found a member of staff through it, and they're formally backing it. Angela Brady has been incredibly supportive, and we're going to be running a nationwide trial of this after Christmas, so if anyone's interested in signing up, then please have a word with me afterwards. There's a couple of things that I'd like to say about the general situation, and I think there's lots of myths out there, lots of scaremongering and lots of £9,000 talk. Actually, the deal that the graduates or the students going into university at the moment are probably going to get a better deal than I did when I was the first year of tuition fees right at the beginning in sort of '99. It didn't put me off. My commitment to architecture, I don't know, I can't say for sure, but I don't think it would be put off with £9,000 either. I think it's incredibly early to establish those underlying trends, and I think it's going to be good to monitor those as 2012 academic year rolls into 2013. Then it's incredibly important for the universities and the RIBA to start publishing those details. I also think that architecture students aren't given enough information on exactly what they'll be paying back. There's a 30-year cap on it, so most students won't actually pay back the full amount. So I think actually talking about the facts of the financial system that's going to be put in place needs to happen. Also, I hear a lot of talk about the £9 fees will only mean that rich people can do architecture, and apparently that's going to be the end of the built environment. I think that's incredibly patronising to people that their mum and dads can actually afford to send them to architecture school, and whether because they can afford to, that will make them a lesser architect, I'm not quite sure. So I think my commitment wouldn't have been shaken by this new system, and I think commitment is the word that I'd like to talk about. Commitment from the students, the universities, the government, employers and RIBA. I think it's very dangerous at the moment to ask employers to make financial contributions over and above a certain amount, because times are really, really difficult. And that's where my new ventures come from. It's come from actually saying to employers, I know you've got work, and I know that it's expensive to find the people and expensive to advertise and the time it takes to find them. But what I'll do is I'll set up a website, get graduates on there from all universities, make it completely free for you to search that pool. Then the money that you would have spent on agency fees or advertising, please guaranteed minimum wage for everyone post Part 1. And I think that's the commitment that I would ask employers, is for guaranteed minimum wage. I know that it's been part of the RIBA Chartered Practice application, so that they have to sign up for that. But that's only 50% of the architectural practices out there, and I think actually getting that commitment from employers to say that any graduate will be paid guaranteed minimum wage would soften the blow of doing 5 years' worth of study for a lot more money, and then actually being offered 3-month unpaid internships when you come out of it. I think there's a psychology of that needs to change. And that's about it.
Thank you very much.
Paul is just going to read out a few extracts, so it's Paul.
Hi, I'm not speaking on behalf of myself here, I'm speaking on behalf of 12 Sheffield students who next door created the Pavilion of Protest. This was kind of the brainchild initially of myself and Zora, who were keen to have a whinge in the most positive way possible, because I think we realised that architects whinge and moan a lot, but do a little. It's very easy. I think one of the analogies was to knock down a wall, but in terms of protest, it takes years to rebuild that wall, so we were keen to showcase the talent and the skills that students develop over their education, and not to put a negative slant on it, and to show the RIBA institutions, the ARB, that we do have loads of skills, and that essentially, if we don't agree with them, we don't have to use them, we can use our skills. So this is from the 12 students, it's not my own words. So we were fortunate that Sheffield School of Architecture, through its Live Projects programme, was able to facilitate our involvement